Alrighty, so with this final video, I just want to show you how to put together the bolts and nuts to get those into this assembly, because in the end you want your product to look like this with these 8 structural pieces, these 18 nut and bolt combos, and you want it fully constrained that I can click on any of these and they don't go anywhere. And it's not because they're grounded, but because they are constrained to a single part that's grounded, the bumper. Alright, so let's look about how to do that. So I'm going to come over here to this kind of practice file I've been using. And you can see I have a couple bolts and nuts in here already, but I want to show you the process for getting those in. So for one thing, let's spin around, because we're going to work with this area first. And we'll zoom in a little bit, if I can, using the trackpad again. So there we go. Alright, so let's do place, and we got to go to the right place to find these parts. So find your name, Google Drive, and you're going to find the folder that this stuff all came from. Now honestly, I have to remember where that was. I think for me that was here. I think it's in the inventor folder. Sure hope so. Let me go back up one. It was not for me. It's actually in here. Okay, now we're getting there. Alright, good. So we need some structure. And you can see I already have a subassembly. So this is a little sneak peek at what I'm going to show you how to create. You're going to demote a subassembly, but that'll be later on. So go into my structure, and let's bring in let's do the icons, so it's a little easier to see. So medium icons. Yeah, it's not showing me the icons like I want, but we want the 8/32, and we want a Keps nut, so we'll use that. So let's bring one of those in and just set it to the side over here. Alright, so I'm going to right click, say I'm done with that, and we're also going to place the 8/32. This one I think is what we want. No, those are assembly files, so I am looking for just a part file. It's an 8/32 bolt. Okay, there we go. We want the 1/4 inch long. Alright, so I've got this, and I can rotate it once if I want around the y-axis. Oh, let's do it 2 more times. I went the other direction. Alright, so I've got that. I'm going to right click and say OK. And basically you'll need to put this into these holes, right? So it looks like there's going to be one going into right down here. Okay. Well, here is where using the iMates would be helpful. As far as getting the other pieces connected, I didn't think that was very helpful for you all, so that's why I showed you how to constrain using mate and flush. But in this case, it can be useful. So to do that, let's drag the bolt a little closer over. Okay, and you see when I click on it, there's this white circle. That is called the iMate. So an iMate is basically a half of a constraint that can pair to a second constraint half, right? Which is also called an iMate. And if you click on one of these pieces, they already have a ton of iMates. So the trick is getting it to the right one. So I'm going to hit Alt, that key. Actually, before I even do that, click this. All right, so that iMate is visible. Click Alt, click the iMate, and drag it towards here. And we're going to try to hover over one of these iMates until it is lined up the way we like. All right. I might need to zoom in to do this better. Now that looked pretty good. So I'm going to let go. And then let's zoom in on it. Make sure that's what we want. It's zooming out, unfortunately. Alright. Yeah, it looks like that's about right. Let's go to the left view. Zoom in. Okay. So it's possible it's actually shrunken inside a little bit, like it's gone too far in. But for our purposes now, that's not going to be a big deal. All right, so somehow I made the visibility get all weird. So let's do return. Okay, return is all we had to do. That's a good lesson. When things get weird, make sure you are not in this setting where you need to click return. Okay, so there's my bolt, and I need to get a nut on it. All right, so I'm zooming out. Trying to zoom out. Well, let's just do this. Okay, so there's my nut. Let's bring it a little closer, and we've got to get on that underneath to get connected to this. So I wonder if I spin like this down below, and then try to zoom in. Okay, now we're kind of more in the area here. Let's see, I'm trying to get to where that nut was visible. If I've lost a nut, I can actually just drag another one in so it's visible. Okay, and again, I think we can use the iMates. So go Alt, or first click on the object. It doesn't look like it has an iMate on it, so that's okay. We'll just constrain this normally. So we would go constrain, and we do want a mate first, and so we want this surface. So I can see the arrow right there to constrain to this surface. All right, click apply, and then I want the center lines to mate. All right, so we want essentially this center line to mate with this center line. All right, click apply, and that is now on there. All right, and yeah, again, it's gone through the structure a little bit. If that happens, that's okay for what we're doing. All right. But that would be a lot of nuts and bolts to add if you had to do it individually like that. All right, so looking back at this, there's 18 of them. All right, and having to go through and do each one like that would take a long time. Well, you don't necessarily have to do that. Okay, so there is a way to demote and create your own subassembly, which I'll show you here. So what you would do is, view's gotten all funky on me. Let's go back to this. You would basically bring in, or choose your item. Okay, so it was this bolt, right? And let's try to control. Well, actually, let's also select that nut. Okay, so I'm going to do control select so we get both at the same time. Right click and go to show relationships or component. It's component and demote. All right, and here we can actually create our own assembly. All right, so what we could call it is nut and bolt 2, because I've already made one and I don't want it to get confusing. But very careful, make sure you save it to the same folder that all the other parts are coming from. Right now it is not. And it could get pretty confusing. Not just confusing, it wouldn't open it, because when you go to open this assembly later, it's going to be looking in a particular folder for all these parts. And if those parts are actually stored from other folders, it's going to say, you know what, I can't find those. So right now I'm going to change that to put it in the same folder that all these other things are in. All right, so for me right now that is my name, Google Drive, North, and it was in this folder, I believe. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to put it in here with the Clawbot assembly. So click Save, and now it's correct, so I'll click OK. And yep, we want these things copied. Okay, so we'll say yes. All right, and so now that is together. So the cool thing is, when I want another one of these, I can literally just go to my browser, drag it in, all right, and place it where it's supposed to go, which my next one looks like it'll be next to this other bolt there. So, trying to zoom in, we want that to go there. Let's see if we can zoom in just a little more. Okay, that's pretty good. I wish I could move my view a little bit, so I'll zoom back out. And same thing. Click on the item, see the IMate, then click the Alt key, grab the item, and move it to where you want it to go. Which is going to be right in this area. I've run out of trackpad. Okay, I'll have to bring it back. But that is the idea. All right? So once you've done that, it's going to make things go a lot more quickly for you.